firstly, we need to guarantee the freedom of information as a right. Right now, if you look under the fundamental liberties of the Malaysian citizen in the federal constitution, it doesn't say anything about freedom of information, right? So the constitution in some ways is silent on whether or not people have this right to information or freedom of information. So what we actually need, to me, is a law that clarifies or to declare that every citizen of this country has a right to information. And it must be a right to information and not just an opportunity to ask for information which may or may not be granted by a particular authority. And that's one of the criticisms at the moment of the draft legislation that is before the Selangor State Assembly, because there it says that an individual may, let me give you the right wording so that I'll read you the English version. It's clause 5. So clause 5, sub 1 says, any person may be given access to information made by every department. So there is still that question of uncertainty. You may not. Who decides? On what basis does this person make that kind of decision? So to us, that's one of the significant flaws of the FOI legislation, the draft legislation, that we have not sufficiently made clear that this is a right. Right now it's not mandatory, it's permissive. So, there's a discretion involved. And we all know there's always huge amounts of problems whenever you give somebody a discretion, because it's a question of how you exercise that discretion. What is the basis on which you exercise the discretion? Is it exercised in good faith? All these kinds of issues. So what we should have really is a clear declaration that the right to information is a basic and fundamental right. I would even suggest that we should amend our constitution to actually put it in. And I would like to challenge parliamentarians on both sides of the political aisle. Do you have the political will to change the Malaysian constitution to put freedom of information as a constitutional right, right there with all the other fundamental liberties in our constitution? I think it can be done if there is a political will. Although Barisan does not control a 2/3 majority, I think on an issue like this, I think the opposition federal parliamentarians will be more than happy to say we will agree to lend support to any kind of clause of this nature, and I'm sure it will pass. The question is, I think there is perhaps a lack of political will on the part of the government in trying to allow citizens this fundamental right. And as Gayatri said, it's a fundamental basic human right. It's Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which technically Malaysia has subscribed to when we joined the United Nations in 1957. Article 19 basically says that people have the right to information. So it's something that should actually be part and parcel of our way of life. But unfortunately, ourselves, like also in Singapore, we have started on the basis that everything is secret unless it is made open, as opposed to the other way around, which is the way the activists and the human rights advocates are saying everything is open unless it is restricted. And then you talk about why is there a restriction, then you talk about exceptions, national security, defense, whatever it is. But then you don't allow those exceptions to be abused. Like for example, we should have a debate on whether or not it was necessary, say, to buy submarines, right? And if we, let's be honest, I mean, there may well be good reasons to buy submarines. We're not disputing that there may be good reasons to buy submarines. After all, you've got this huge thing called the South China Sea between Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah and Sarawak, and that needs to be patrolled in some way. Maybe one of the better ways of doing that is buy a submarine. So we're not saying don't buy submarines, but why buy this particular submarine, right? Can't even sink, that sort of thing. And how much do you pay for it, and what do you get? What is the package that you get? So when it comes to defense spending, things like that. Some of these things do need to be open and transparent. I mean, it's very interesting. Waibinik Nazmi talked about this particular case that went to court about the Shabas concession agreement. The learned judicial commissioner there, Judicial Commissioner Hadaria, quoted from an Indian court case, which I will just read a very small extract, which is the same extract that she quoted. And it basically says this: in modern constitutional democracies, it is axiomatic. That means it is, you can't even argue about it. It's accepted that citizens have a right to know about the affairs of the government, which, having been elected by them, seeks to formulate sound policies of governance aimed at their welfare. So basically, governments make decisions that affect us. So why is it that in making those decisions, the reasons for making those decisions are then hidden from the very people whose benefit supposedly these decisions are made? It's strange if a government says, we have your interests at heart, we're going to make decisions to benefit you, to protect you, to help you, but we're not going to let you in on the decision-making process. We're not going to tell you how we make the decision. It's odd, isn't it? It's like, I know everything, I'm Big Brother, I take care of you, you don't worry, you don't ask me questions, I just take care of you. It cannot be the way in modern democracies.